Welcome back and thank you for being here today. I'm a full-time acrylic painter and this is part 2 of taking you along with me as I create a painting from start to finish that I'll eventually sell as prints. In part 1 of this video, I showed you guys some techniques for blending with acrylics and getting inspiration. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll link it here. Again, this is part 2, which will be focused on detailing the painting, finalizing it, and the process of creating prints. I'm not sure how this painting is going to turn out, but stick around to find out. Alright, let's get to work, guys. This is the progress so far, and I want to show you guys how I got my sketch of the mushrooms. Now, I usually would freehand, right? But sometimes when I want it to be placed in a perfect position, this is how I was able to achieve that. I use this ColorByFeliks projector. And if you're interested in one of these, I'll link it for you, but I'll show you exactly how I use this to get my idea down right there. But first things first is it needs to be in a dark room so that I can see clearly. Alright, so I turned it on right here and this is what it gave me, and I'm gonna choose wireless and I press. Here is the photo I'm trying to reflect, right? And this is what I do. I go to settings first and go to Wi-Fi and find the name Kodak, tap that, let it connect, and then go to screen right here, mirroring, and tap that. And whenever you want to stop mirroring, you just click stop, but there it is. Now you can see it's giving me the image. Obviously it's daytime and it's pretty bright right now, so it's not going to give me super clear. As long as I get the shape of them, it's good enough for me. So now I'm going to bring in the canvas with my painting, right? Set that down about right there, like this. And now I'm going to try to move my projection, and you can zoom in and zoom out and make your mushrooms big, make them small, right? I spent a lot of time, about 40 minutes, studying, trying to look at how I like the shape and where I want the placement to be. And this is where you get the focus to be sharper. You just move it around. And from here you can use acrylic paint, it doesn't matter, or an acrylic marker to quickly outline the shape, right, the highlights. And remember, like I said, I'm gonna tweak it and make it my own. So I'm gonna make some mushrooms a little bigger like this so it can kind of match these mushrooms, right? And I would only use this if I wanted it to be perfectly the size and everything on the canvas. Otherwise, I usually just freehand everything and correct as I go. All right, I hope that helps. And here we go. I'm gonna put my brushes in the water so they can become soft. And here's my reference photo. I'm gonna start with titanium white. Always make sure the lid is closed after you added the paint. Next will be medium yellow and sap green, and then scarlet red and lime black. And then I'll quickly mix this. This will be the base for my moss and my background of the ground and tree. I added a few more colors here. Now that my brushes sat in the water for a bit, they are nice and soft. I'm gonna clean my palette knife real quick. I'm gonna use my number 8 brush. It's like a filbert style brush with some water and the paint I just mixed. I'm gonna quickly lay out all the colors as the first base. And I also mixed a few more colors to make it look a little more warmer. I'll spend some time laying out my lighter and darker colors where I want them to be, and we'll go from there. Now that the base is laid out and dry, I mix some more colors for the mushrooms. I'm gonna do the same thing at this first layer as the base. I'm gonna quickly work on these mushrooms and show you what I get. Okay, so I got the quick sketch down. You can see this is like a piece of wood here and then moss growing on the wood in the back. And then we got the first layer on the mushrooms, the colors laid out. The next part will be working on the moss here and detailing everything here. Man, I don't feel good about this painting so far. The background is too much, and the last actually few days I've just been overwhelmed and sad and carrying all that, I don't know, confusion with this painting, because I feel like I know what I have to do. All that hard work, you know, over 2 weeks of work. I think I'm gonna have to repaint it because I'm not happy with it, you know, and it happens. Try to stay positive and move forward. That's what I do. I still make mistakes, lots of them. It's challenging, but you know, it's worth it because when you do overcome, it feels so good. And I don't know what to do. I don't really have a clear path for the background I'm talking about, but I'm just gonna keep trying and hopefully, you know, I can fix this. Just so you know, this happens to all of us to this day, and it's okay. Don't quit, don't stop, keep moving forward. Even if you have to repaint the whole thing or start over, that's what we gotta do. All right, guys, let's repaint. No, it doesn't look good. I guess I'm gonna have to repaint the whole thing. Let's just do it. What a mess. So I don't like this either. There's a lot of texture going on because of, you know, adding so many layers on these circles. So I'm gonna try to actually experiment with this piece and sand it and see what happens. And here's the result. Kind of looks interesting, but I still don't like it. I scratched too much and you can see the canvas showing through, so I'm gonna actually paint again and see if I can save it. I kept trying to save this image, so I was working really hard and focused on trying to see if I can overcome. It is a new day and I'm pretty tired, but I got a new idea. I want to see if this will work. I'll mix my acrylic paint with water to make it liquidy, and then I'll use a straw to blow paint all over the canvas. Let's just have fun and see what happens. Man, this one was a challenge and a struggle. Lots of emotions. It hit me really hard on this one because I spent over 2 weeks. I overdid it. I kept trying to correct little parts thinking, oh, maybe I can save it. But unfortunately, I couldn't save it. And then when I sanded the canvas, it became so soft that when I added new paint on, it wasn't really gripping as I wanted it to. That's why I was more open to experimenting with this piece. I want you to know that this happens. I still make mistakes. A lot of the paintings I do, I always see them as practice pieces anyway. So this piece was definitely something I learned from. I overthought about it. I was focused on every little detail. Mistake 2 was I added too much color in the background. So when I added the colorful mushrooms, there was no good depth. It was all flat, you know, it just looked awful. And I knew what I had to do after I saw that. Even when I was painting, I had a couple circles left. I kind of already knew that, oh man, because I started thinking about the whole image and I'm like, this is way too colorful. It would be fine if it was just by itself and nothing else was added, but because I was adding details and mushrooms and things, it was too distracting, the background. I'm sure you would agree. I'm gonna pause on this project because we're actually going to Florida. We're gonna visit family. We're both exhausted, me and my wife. You know, we're both working and we're taking turns watching our son, and we love it, but at the same time we're trying to work as well and balance everything, and it's been just exhausting these last couple months. And I think that also had an impact on my art. It's so important to take breaks. I'm gonna start fresh again. But it's important not to give up, even if you're struggling with a specific thing and you just can't get it. Keep trying, keep pushing yourself, and you will overcome. That's what it takes. Even to this day, I'm still struggling with a lot of stuff in my art. But, you know, the only way I can push through is by doing it. So keep working and you will overcome. And you will gain new techniques, skills, and you'll get better, and your art is gonna look more interesting and unique. So I'm gonna still experiment and have fun with this one, and I'll show you guys the process once I'm back. But let's go to Florida and start fresh. We spent a few days relaxing with family and celebrating Thanksgiving before getting back to work.
Sorry. You're good.
After that fun dance with my son, I was pumped to get back to work, so we decided to go to the art store to get some art supplies and canvases. You know, when you're with your family, things get done a lot slower, but that's okay because family is important.
Open it.
Hey! And here's a little tip. I'm gonna glaze some water all over the canvas because it is loose, as you can see. And after it dries, it looks like this. It stretches out by itself and it becomes nice and firm. Okay, I feel good and I already like how this is turning out. So be sure to stick around for part 3, which I'll show you how I overcome and finish this painting and how I create prints. All I have to say right now is taco dosh.